I'm no stranger to electronic music and have pretty much been swept away by the culture of it all ever since the beginning of my teen years. I've been to raves, produced music, and even held my own DJ events. It's a really great art form that fits into a lot of different mediums. The same could be said about most music in any genre, but I think electronic music really gives life to movies, visual art, and especially video games. Dance music really shines in fast-paced games like extreme sports, racing games, and shooters. Sometimes even becoming a core part of the game like Stepmania, DJ Hero, or even DDR Mario. But something that I find even more interesting is when the culture of the music is incorporated into the level of the game. It's no secret that club levels / areas in video games have been around for a long time. It makes sense as it's a really popular setting for action movies, music videos, but I think being the interactive art form of video games, we can take this one step further. A mere room in an open world can add so much atmosphere, a place where anything could happen. You could drink yourself till your booze cruise home becomes the challenge of the video game. Or you could get into a bar fight that really challenges your skills, as these places are usually heavily guarded. Some games will take this one step further, being an immersive sim that will let you partake in various mini-games to impress those ladies that have over 700 polygons on offer.
That was great! You never see people do that stuff anymore. I like you. Make room and I'll come to the party.
Yes!
And with the more recent VR gaming, you can be fully immersed in these environments and socialize with people or just straight up be the DJ. The main reason I actually wanted to make this video is a really interesting phenomenon with video games that I think I might notice more than others. You see, when movies need music for a scene, they usually have the budget to just go find an artist to make it or buy the rights. This is also the case for a lot of video games, but not always. Video games can have much smaller teams, bigger crunch times, lower budgets to work with, and in a lot of cases, the person who's assigned to the OST will just make absolutely everything. I find this especially interesting for things like a club setting, as the music is sometimes made by someone who hasn't listened to or made it before, and basically has a fresh idea of what it's supposed to sound like. You might be a little confused by what I'm talking about, but I'll show you a few examples. The first example that I could think of is actually in Tony Hawk's Underground 2. There's an area in New Orleans under one of the buildings that is a club. The music is basically just acid house at a faster rate of 140 BPM, which is somewhat interesting, but I do imagine this is what dance music sounds like to someone who hasn't really listened to it before. Continuing the acid-based trend, we have one of my favorite games, Postal 2. This game is a really great immersive sim full of early 2000s charm, and if you haven't played it, just do yourself a favor and get this game.
You go, girl.
In this example, we walk into the club Fire in the Hole, which is pretty self-explanatory as you walk in. Immediately, you are greeted by the most generic blend of acid house and trance ever. Just another great example of whipping up whatever they thought was club music just for this small area that really has no relevance to the game's progression. The last example that I could think of was in Cruelty Squad. Cruelty Squad is a game that is interesting to say the least. Not only does this game have the weirdest art direction of all time, but an equally unsettling soundtrack to accompany it. This game has a surprising amount of depth, and is a game that I think I'll have to make an entirely separate video on. Anyways, in the level Neuron Activator, there is a club that you can enter, and the music that plays is actually probably the most interesting of these examples. The music for this level is basically some really stressful hardstyle with a unique saw synth that pulsates throughout the level, as well as having a somewhat unique rhythm that is kind of just like sped up Jersey Club. It fits the aesthetic of the level perfectly and is fairly unique in design. If you have any more examples, please let me know, as it was really hard to sort of pinpoint the point I was trying to get across in this video. I did think of some other games, but they were either too high budget or just straight up cameoed a producer who then in turn made the loop of music for that level. Hope you all enjoyed, and if you have any more video ideas or video game soundtracks you'd like me to cover, let me know. See you later.